Hello friends, this is Raman Gill with your weekly Forex market analysis for the week of April the 18th. A quick disclaimer before we get started, this is for educational purposes only. If you have questions about your individual investing needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. We'll start off by taking a look at the economic calendar to understand what news is coming out this week. Then we'll get into the commitment of traders data to look at how the bigger players are positioned. And finally, we'll look at our charts to look at some of the levels we may be interested in trading this week. Let's start off by taking a look at our calendar here for this week. One of the big events that happened over the weekend was the Doha Oil Summit. This was a meeting between Russia, Saudi Arabia, and other oil producing countries. And the purpose of this meeting was to see if they can come to an agreement over cutting oil production. However, they were not able to reach an agreement, and as a result of that, we saw oil drop, and also we have seen the commodity currencies take a hit, especially dollar CAD has taken quite a hit. We also have the CPI or the inflation numbers come out for New Zealand, which came out positive, and there was a market reaction as a result of that. Going into Monday here, we have FOMC member Dudley speaking. And the most important thing here is for Australian dollar, we have monetary policy meeting minutes coming out, which are very important for Australian dollars. And we may see volatility in the market as a result of this. On Tuesday, we have the German ZEW economic sentiment, which is important. Then we have building permits, and then a lot of central bank governors speaking. We have Reserve Bank of Australia Governor Stevens, then Bank of England Governor Carney speaking, and then finally Bank of Canada Governor Polas speaking. When we have anybody from central bank speaking, there is generally volatility in the market, so watch out for that. On Wednesday, we have employment numbers for British pound and the average earning index. Then going into the New York session, we have crude oil inventories. Thursday here is a very important for the euro. We have ECB press conference. We have a minimum bid rate, the interest rate for the eurozone here. It is not expected to change. However, the commentary that comes out of ECB could have a big impact on the markets. Last time we saw a big push up in the euro. So be mindful of that if you are trading here on Thursday. We also have the retail sales number for the British pound. Going into Friday, we have Eurozone PMI number, manufacturing and services PMI number coming out, and then in the New York session, we have core CPI and core retail sales numbers for the Canadian dollar. Let's start by taking a look at the euro dollar data here. As we see, the leverage money, which is the green line, is going up, which means they have reduced their short positions for the euro. We went from 54,000 short positions to 47,000 short positions. However, the asset managers, which are the longer term players like pension funds, they have reduced their long positions from 11,000 down to 3,800. So overall, this seems neutral for the euro. Moving on to the British pound here, we see that the speculative players, which are the leverage money here, have reduced their short positions. They've gone from 40,000 to 36,000. So this would point to bullishness in the pound. Looking at US dollar CAD here, for the Canadian dollar, we see that the short positions have been reduced slightly, and asset managers have actually added to their long positions. So overall, this would be positive for the Canadian dollar, so bearish for US dollar CAD. Looking at the Australian dollar data here, we actually see that the asset managers have added to their long positions. They've gone from 24,000 to 32,000, whereas the leverage money, which are the speculative players, again, they have slightly reduced their long positions from 36,000 to 34. So overall, based on the COT data here, Australian dollar is still bullish. Looking at New Zealand US dollar here, For the New Zealand positions, we see that the asset manager, which is the red line here, they have increased their short positions. They went from 6,500 to 7,900 for their short positions. And for the speculative players here, leverage funds, they have increased their long positions. So they went from 5,400 to 7,000. So overall, this looks neutral as well based on the COT. Let's move on to the charts here. We'll start by taking a look at Euro US dollar. This is the weekly chart. We see a nice bearish close for the weekly candle. Taking a look at the daily chart here, we were in this range for quite some time, 1342 range. However, we have seen that last week the price finally broke through this range, to the bottom of this range, and now we'd be looking for price to potentially go and test this 113.42 or 50 area over here, and if the price stays below this level, it could provide us an opportunity for a short position in the euro. Looking at the British pound US dollar here, this was a weekly close was bullish to neutral. Price did come down, however, it got rejected and pushed back up. Looking at the daily chart here, it was a bullish close. However, there was a rejection. Price went and tested the high and then got rejected. So now we could be looking at a potential move to the downside here, 40.80. So if the price comes here and price holds above this level, we could look for a push up from here, a reaction at the 41.40.80 level. However, if the price pushes up, we are looking for a short position here at 143.50, and another level we could watch out for is the top of this daily candle here as well, 142.42 level. So if you take a look at the 1 hour chart, this is the level we're looking at. This is a nice support and resistance level, so there may be a potential for a short opportunity if the price stays below this level. Or if it pushes back up, we'd be looking at the high at 43.40 area for a potential short. And we are looking for the price to move into this 40.80 level. And if that level breaks down, we are looking at one test of 140. Australian dollar here, Aussie US dollar, we've seen a big move up in Aussie. However, for the last few weeks, it has held this range. Looking at the daily chart here, we do see price close up into the highs. However, over the weekend, the commodity currencies, like I mentioned, have taken a hit and the price gapped down. So now we'd be looking for the price to push back up potentially into this 76.80 area. So if the price holds below this 76.80 area, we could be looking for a move down back into 76.20 area. However, there is a potential for this gap to get filled. The price did start creeping up, and this could get filled all the way to 7,700 here. If that's the case, if the price comes to 7,700 and shows signs of reaction, we'd be looking for a potential move to the downside. So we're looking at the highs here, 77.40 area for a potential short, or 7,700 for a potential short. Looking at the bottom here, if it comes back and retest the bottom, we are potentially looking for a long move to the upside. And here we need to see what the price does. We would expect the gap to be filled. However, that could take some time, so be mindful of that. New Zealand US dollar again has been in this range for the last few weeks. This is the weekly chart here. Now we need to see which way the price breaks. Looking at the daily chart here, it is pushing up here into the highs. As you can see, the price has come and tested this level. There was a gap down in New Zealand as well. However, the gap has been filled now, and we'd be looking for, if the price starts holding above this level here, 69.20 area, we're looking for a further move to the upside and potentially to test the high here. If it does break through 69.70 area, if it closes on the other side of it above this level, we are looking for a further move to the upside, which would be above this range. And then we could even look into this 71.70 area for this week if it breaks above the range. However, if it comes up here and gives us any kind of a rejection pattern, we could be looking for a potential short opportunity. However, the inflation numbers have come out quite positive. Last time the dairy prices had come out quite positive as well, which has pushed this pair up. Looking at the US dollar CAD here, the weekly close was quite bearish. However, it did come into this low here, into this support and resistance at 127.68 level. For this week, we did see a gap up here. We saw the price close low on Friday and it moved up on the market open, moved all the way to 129.85, and since then we have seen a bit of a pullback here. Now the question is, will this close the gap right away? So this is the next level we're looking at. 128 or 12900 will be the next level. We may see the price pull back all the way into either this 128.20 level or even all the way into the bottom here. So we'll be looking for the gap to get filled, and then the bottom here would be a potential buy opportunity if the price is not able to break below this, or we may be looking at 130.67 area for a potential selling opportunity. So that's all I have for you today. Have a great trading week, and I'll see you next week.